Hello, my name is Paula, I'm a knitwear designer, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to knit this Billie Bob top. This top is definitely a fun one to knit since it's not the usual style of top you're knitting. You do both of the straps and then you knit this front panel and also a back panel, and then you join the straps with the panel and then you start knitting the front first and do some increases, and then you knit the back part. And then when you have added all the stitches to your work, you start knitting in the round and finish it in the round. And in the hem you also have this same kind of 2x2 ribbing you have on the straps and on the front and back panels. In the body you have this beautiful seed stitch all around. You can download this pattern from my website paulanist.com and also from Ravelry. This top pattern comes with two options for yarn, so you can choose from fingering weight yarn, which is this beige top that I'm wearing, which means it's a bit lighter one, or DK weight yarn, which is this red top that I'm holding here. And of course it's a bit heavier, but still a lovely summer top. Because of the two options for yarn, there are different measurements and also gauge for this top, but otherwise the pattern follows the same instructions. So when you're picking your yarn, make sure that you choose the right measurements for your project. Here you can see how the DK weight yarn looks on the top. Maybe a bit more coverage with it. I like the both options. I knitted this red top in the exact same size as I did the beige one, as I wanted to have one top that is way more looser and more relaxed, and that's what I got. This beige top is knitted with Sannesgarn Tunnline, and it's a fingering weight yarn. I really like it. It's really light and soft, and I think it's gonna wear out really well. But now let's get on with the tutorial. You start the top by knitting two exactly the same panels in flat. These are 2x2 ribbing, and then you just cast them off when you have knitted both of them. Panels are attached to the shoulder straps, so next we're gonna knit the shoulder straps in the round. When the shoulder straps have been knitted, we're gonna sew them in so that you will have the structure for the top, and then you start picking up stitches for the front and for the back. For the shoulder straps, you cast as many stitches you need for your size according to the pattern, and then you start knitting 2x2 ribbing in the round. When the strap is wide enough, so exactly the same as the front panels, you will cast off part of the stitches, not all of them. You first slip the first stitch, then you knit the second one. So now that I have two stitches here, I'll put my left hand needle through both of them, and then I knit it like this. So this one creates a rather stretchy bind off for your stitches. Now I have cast off the amount of stitches I need for the shoulder straps. So the shoulder straps, the cast off part is the shoulder strap that goes over your shoulder. So basically like this. This is the part that we casted off, and like this. You will keep these stitches on the needle or on a knitting cord. As we go on knitting the front, we're gonna pick them up one by one, and that's how we're gonna join the work at the shoulders from the underarm. So next up, you will cut the yarn I've already knitted another one. You will place them like this. So the stitches that are on the needles are next to the body, cast on edge is the front, and the cast off stitches are on the shoulders. And then you have another one like this. And now we're gonna attach this, first the front panel onto the work. So you can start with either one of the front panels, just make sure the front side is facing up so that you have knit stitches on both of the edges here. And as my last two stitches are purled ones on the ones that are on hold, I will be attaching this by sewing, starting from the knit stitches. So here I have a piece of yarn from the work and a tapestry needle, and I'll be starting with the upper corner of the front panel. And as I need to be attaching this on the 8 stitches from the stitches on hold, so I'll be starting from 2, 4, 6, 8 from this part. I'll be taking the last knit stitch leg so that it stays on its place. And then I'll be going through all of the stitches from the work. This might seem a bit fiddly, but as you attach the first one, you will get the hang of it. And as I go from the shoulder strap part, you can tighten this up. Always pick up stitches, the whole stitch pair. So here I'll take the whole knit stitch pair, and then I'll move on to the other side. And then when I go to the purled ones, I'll take those, and I'm holding it so that I know where to take the next one from. And this is the way I'm approaching it. I'm going through it, through all of the 8 stitches. This is the last from the shoulder strap. So then I'll just tie it up and go to the next one. So now that I have the first shoulder strap on hold, the stitches are still on the needles, I need to attach the other one as well. So then I'll have the front panel on. I have this yarn from my cast off, and I'll be using that to attach it. Now you just need to remember to have the stitches on hold on the body side, and you'll be attaching it on the same place as we did at last time. So now that the both shoulder straps have been attached to the front panel, you can either go on and attach the back panel to the back part of it, or you can knit first the front and then attach it and continue to the back part. I'll be showing you how to knit the front first, and then you can continue to the back part, and I won't be attaching the back panel yet so that it will be easier to demonstrate this, how to build up the top. Next, we'll be picking up stitches from here, from the front panel, so that we can start knitting this front part in flat. And after I'll show you how to pick up the stitches, but as you have these stitches on hold, you'll be knitting first one round, and then you'll be picking up for the first stitch from the needles every time you go about. So then at some point you have added all the stitches for the underarm, and you'll be leaving some of the stitches on hold and going for the back part before you join the whole body. So next we'll be picking up stitches from here so that we can start the seed stitch and the front part and increases. You can leave these stitches on cables or on the needles, either way, but now I'll be picking up stitches from here. I have the same yarn, same needle size, and I'll be picking up the same amount of stitches that I casted on for the front panel. You go on and pick up all of the stitches. Make sure to pick up the whole leg. So here you can see there are two parts of the stitch, and go on and pick them all up. Now I have picked up all the stitches from my front panel, and next you'll turn the work. And I know this might be a bit fiddly with all of the needles here, but bear with me. You can always put them on the cords to make it easier. I'll just slip this here. So now I'm on the back, and I'll be starting a seed stitch. So on the opposite rounds, you'll be knitting knit, purl all the way around, and when you turn the work, you purl the knit stitch and knit the purl stitch, and that's how you get the pattern. So I'll be starting with knit one, purl one, and as I go all the way across the front, then we'll be adding stitches. Now I'm at the end of the row, so now I'll have one more knit and one more purl stitch. And now this is the first row of the front panel. I'll be adding the first stitch from the shoulder strap to the work. So now that I knit the last one, I'll be purling this into the work. This needs to be tightened up. Then you'll turn the work. And continue with the seed stitch. And first you knit 2 rounds where you don't make any increases on the front panel, but after those 2 rounds you'll be making those increases. So now I have a purl stitch first, I'll be knitting it, then I have a knit stitch, I'll be purling it, and this way I'll go all the way once more through the front panel. Now I'm again at the end of the row. This is the second row, so no increases yet. My last stitch is a knit stitch, so I'll be purling the first stitch from this shoulder to the work, like this. Okay, and now I have worked 2 rounds of the front panel. We will be starting to increase after this. So turn the work and just like before, knit the 3rd round in seed stitch like you did before. Before end of the row, oops, we will make an increase. So now that I've had knitted until the last stitch, before the last stitch of the round, I'll be adding 1 stitch leading to the right. And now that my last stitch was purl 1, I'm gonna need to be adding make 1 right. Okay, so I'll take the yarn between the stitches, I'll put it on top, and then I'll be working it like a mid stitch. Now I have purl, knit, and purl. And even though this one is now a purl stitch, we'll be continuing always the pattern from the body part. So purl, knit, this needs to be purl, and then I'll be taking the 2nd stitch from the shoulder. So this will be a knit stitch. And so you have added 1 stitch. Then you turn the work and continue the seed stitch until you go to the end of the row. You'll be making the 2nd increase before the last stitch, and that will be make 1 right. It can be also make 1 right purled if your last stitch, as I can see here, this one is purled, it's gonna be make 1 right. And then you go on, always add 1 stitch before the last stitch of the row, and then you add a stitch from the shoulder strap. And you go like this until all of the stitches for the front part are worked into the work. You will have the number of the stitches in the pattern. I'll show you once more. Now I have 2 stitches left. I need to knit this one, so the next needs to be a purled stitch. So I'll take the bar between the stitches, lift it up, and then I'll purl it, since it's a make 1 right. Don't mind my purled stitch. And then I need to knit this last stitch, and when I add the next stitch from the shoulder strap, it's gonna be a purled one, like this. So now you'll see how you'll be adding stitches to the work and working the front panel. So I'll just show you before I'll continue the work. It's gonna look like this, and you'll be knitting flat all the way until you have added enough stitches for the front panel, and then you'll be leaving the stitches on hold and going for the back panel before we join the work. So when you have worked all your increases for the underarms, you're going to continue working without the increases and adding stitches from the shoulder straps one by one until you have added as many as the pattern says. I have marked the amount of stitches with a stitch marker, so I don't lose count. And the same goes with the other side. And when all the stitches are on the front panel, you have completed the front. Now the pattern says to move a certain amount of stitches to the same needles you have the front panel on. So I'll be doing that now. And I'll be doing same for the other part. So now the front panel is done. Armpit stitches are on the needles, and we will move on. And so we'll be attaching the back panel next. You could have done this in the beginning of the work, but I'm gonna do it now so that it's easier to show you. And next I'm gonna sew them, the parts, as I did for the front panel, so same technique. It's also a good idea to move all the front panel stitches to a knitting cord, so you get, unless you have a lot of spare needles. What I usually do, I put a knot in the ends of the cords so you won't lose any stitches. So now I will next attach the front panels. Now you just need to make sure the back panel facing up, and you will be attaching it on the last 8 stitches from the short seam, so like this. So next I'll be picking up stitches from the back panel as I did for the front, but on this back panel there will be no increases on the sides. So you'll be just knitting with seed stitch in flat and adding stitches from the shoulder straps to the work as you go. And after this part, I'll be showing you how to join in the round. Now I have knitted the back part and also the front part. And now I have the underarm stitches still on hold on the same needles. And next we're gonna join everything together. So basically everything is on the same row, so we can just move these stitches on hold back to needles and start knitting in the round. And that's how you finish the body. And now that I have all the stitches on the same needles and the work is facing up, so the right side is on front, I'm going to place a marker beginning of the round and start working seed stitch in the round. So you need to have odd number of stitches in order to make the seed stitch work in the round. So if you have the odd number, it will automatically continue throughout the round. So you just keep on knitting, knit one, purl one, and that's it. So here I have, last is knit stitch. I need to purl this one. And for the body, in some of the sizes you need to decrease 1 stitch in order to get an uneven number of stitches for the seed stitch for the body. But you will see that in the pattern. And that's how you continue the whole body until it's the right length, and then you do the same kind of 4 centimeter ribbing at the hem. So here we have the final product. The Billie Bob top is ready. I'm really liking this blue version of it. I think it adds just that right amount of pop of color you need in your wardrobe. Remember, you can knit this top with DK weight yarn or fingering weight yarn. The choice is yours. And you can find the pattern from my website, paulanits.com, or from my Ravelry page. I'll put the links below in the description. Hope to see you again. Bye!